Alright you lot, welcome back. We've got some new AdMech stuff. I'll be honest, I was not expecting this on a Monday. In fact, it feels like Games Workshop is just showing off stuff whenever they like. We had a crazy new Sylvaneth model for Valentine's Day of all days, and then just random Monday drop a bunch of new Skitarii and a new Archmagos. It's a solid time to be looking for new miniatures, or just wanting nice things to gawk at, really. So we're going to do exactly that. So this is the new Archmagos Terminus, and there is the new Skitarii Heavies as well. This is that new Archmagos, the Archmagos Terminus of Mars, Thulia Ghuld. Sure, great name. As AdMech characters go, this is precisely what I look for in an AdMech character, in that weird as hell. Just really, really odd. A fun mix of cybernetic enhancements with maybe one bit of actual human flesh left. I was going to say interspersed with human flesh, but I mean, technically interspersed. I think there is the remains of a face in there. Beyond that, clearly not much else left. The legs I really like. They're quite reminiscent of the Onager June Crawler, which looks nice. The multitude of little arms sticking out of the gut plate. There's probably a more technical name for that. The abdomen armour. Whatever, gut plate. Those are fantastic, including having a little relic, a little fancy box there in one horrible metal claw. That's very fun. The multitude of tools as well. I really like that. When it comes to tech priests, it feels like rather than go for a modular approach, a lot of them go, well, I might need this wrench and this syringe and this particularly sharp claw. I might also need this very specific device for reading, I don't know, ancient runes. What shall I do? Shall I just carry them with me and fit them where necessary? No, I will simply add limbs until I have got literally everything I could need for every conceivable task, and at that point I shall consider my work still not complete, because there's probably more stuff to add after that, isn't there? That's the kind of impression I get here, and some of this stuff, I mean, that staff, very cool staff, very fun staff, I like it a lot. We have an arm coming out of probably what used to be the actual, like, socket for the arm, except it separates into two parts, one with a hand and one with a smaller clamp. That... why? Why? That is not efficient in the slightest, but for some reason that makes me like it more. And then there's another arm to hold the staff further down. You've got more of these like mecha tendrils and stuff coming out. Again, a separate tool on one of them, because you may as well just carry every single tool you have on a different limb. Why not? The crest coming over the top of the carapace is very nice. I'm still not a huge fan of the AdMech hat, or the Archmagos hat, as I should put it. It's not. It's fine. It just doesn't really strike me as being visually that appealing, but it does add to the whole aura of, this is a weird robotic person. This is just an absolute freak that is mostly mechanical parts now, and at some point there might have been a person in there, but not really anymore. It also leaves it fully open to the imagination as to what is under said hat, because my guess would be a bunch of extra storage for the brain, because that's the sort of thing that they would like to do, most likely. I do like that this one as well has a specific bog roll holder skull. That's very nice. I know that's not what it is, but it's what it reminds me of every single time. Overall, this is fun. This is a fun model. Bit of a centaur kind of approach as well here. Definitely abandoned the trappings of looking human in favour of extra limbs. Not quite Belisarius call I am now a centipede level, but not too far off. You can see the evolution, you know? So Ghuld is a veteran of the Ordo Reductor, which is the subcult that reveres the Omnicia as an avatar of destruction. Well, yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense. That is an exceptionally large gun that she's holding. I do like this, that she believes that the machine god has made her his instrument for the efficient conduct of war, and scorns those like Call who waste valuable time and resources on diplomacy. Yeah, what are you wasting your time for, Call? Just build a bigger gun, idiot. Got some nice alternate angles as well. Yeah, the sheer number of legs is excellent, like that a lot. We've got more kind of weird technologies spilling out from under the robe. Lots of like heavy folding on the robe there. Some of it looks a bit unnatural. I'm not a huge fan of that massive fold that is sort of on the right of the model there, on the left of the model, depending on where you're looking at it from. I'm not sure about it. It looks a bit messy, but not in a natural way. But the rest of it, the way it's draped over the legs is fantastic. I really like the way it's draped over the actual mechanics and machinery. That looks really good, but there's something about the way the folds have been laid out there that doesn't look as real as the rest of the robe, which is what's causing the problem for me. Like, it doesn't look bad, it's just, especially at the back, where it's bunched up towards those kind of backwards joints, that looks super clean. That looks like cloth. Whereas, a bit further up, the way it's folded but not quite folded, and then there's an odd crease coming down, that doesn't look as good as the other section, which makes it stand out more. We do have a bit of tactical rock action, or at least tactical rubble action, but it's not actually affecting the height of the miniature. So it is literally just set dressing on this one. For a lot of them, I feel like it's a case of how do we make this look a bit more grand? How do we add a little bit of height, a little bit of distinguishedness to it? Let's stick a tactical rock on the base. This one, it doesn't add any height, and it is just there. It's just a bit of extra visual interest instead of the foot just being on the floor. So I'm inclined to give this one a bit of a pass. So I've also got these. These are the Hastarii heavy infantry. And, I mean, they definitely got the bulk. There's a bit of girth going on here. Those shoulders, like that carapace armour, I think that looks really, really cool. The mix of a large weapon in the hands and then a smaller one on the shoulder, like that a lot. There is something silhouette-wise of the Space Marine about them, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know. They're very clean. They're, like, for AdMech, they are pretty clean. There isn't an abundance of weird technology stuff kind of covering them. They look fairly simple, not in a bad way, but yeah, they're not as visually kind of out there as, say, your Skitarii Rangers or whatever, which I always feel like there is something very alien about those. These, not so much. Yes, the legs are a fun shape. Is it digigrade? So the sort of backwards joints at the knees and stuff. I like those a lot. Those look great. The mixture of having a bit of cloth and decoration on one arm, where the other one is purely functional. You've got like ball and socket joint attached to the gun. I like that a lot. The helmets look great because AdMech helmets usually do. Also, the power packs as well, I think, are adding a little bit to that overall kind of Space Marine-y silhouette. This is the thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying these look just like a copy of Space Marines. They don't look like a copy of Space Marines. Visually, there's a lot of different stuff going on to Space Marines. I just mean silhouette-wise, at a glance, there is just something familiar there, which, again, not a bad thing, just an observation. But I do quite like them. I do like them. They look chunky, they look hefty. They do look like they've got the the strength to carry those weapons around. I'm not sure whether I think the weapons on the shoulders are a bit overkill, but then again, does it matter if they are? I feel like AdMech a bit of overkill is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we already talked about this new character, Thulia Ghuld, having this massive array of tech just on every limb. We see the same thing with Call, we see the same thing with a bunch of the different characters, where it's a case of, well, don't make it modular, just carry it around with you all the time on an extra arm. There's something a little bit similar here with those guns on the shoulders, but I don't know, I think actually I'm edging towards liking it as opposed to disliking it. Overall, these look decent, and of course they have got the cloaks under the armour. They've got the robes, they've got that nice flowing bit of like coat over the back. Really like that. Really like it. I like it on the other units that have got it. I like it here. It's just a very cool look. And also, the one who's got the power sword there, or whatever version of that type of sword that is, the fact that he's got the two arms that are proper arms with hands on the end, I like that distinction as well. Plus, the cog segment as a crest, always looks cool. Always. 10 out of 10 times, it looks great. So they do have other loadouts as well, as evidenced here. Oh, I like those side profiles. Those close-ups and the side profiles, those look really, really good. I really like whatever gun that is. Does it tell us what the guns are? I can't remember AdMech stuff, I'll be honest. In my head, AdMech weapons are all, like, stupidly long named. Like, I feel like they're all the heavy incisor plasma incinerator rifle kind of style of name. But I don't know whether that's even accurate or not. Let's see if they tell us. So the exterminators carry eradication casters, and the fusiliers have neutron fusils. I mean, cool names on both, to be fair. I will say I really like the look of, if those are the neutron fusils, these ones, I really like those. Those look great. Also, the squad leader being able to switch out which side the sword is on. It's only a small thing. Doesn't really matter. I still like it. I like the fact that there's that option. The different helmets as well are very cool. Having that extra targeting lens on one side, depending on the weapon that you've chosen, just a nice touch. Just a neat little touch. A little bit more differentiation. You don't really need it, I don't think, because, you know, the guns are very, very clearly very different. But just that little bit of extra, I like it. Now, interestingly, it says here that both Thulia Ghuld and her legions of Hastarii will be joining Warhammer 40,000 alongside the new Defiling Mutilators and Iron Warriors. Believe it or not, that's still not all that will be joining us for the next big expansion, so come back next week and bask in the shadow of Armoured Glory. Armoured Glory. What do we reckon that is? Armoured Glory specifically. Armoured, to me, suggests vehicle, probably tank of some kind, but it could also apply to, say, an updated Hellbrute or something like that. Don't think it's the big man. I don't think Peter Turbo is on the return, but I don't know. That's interesting, Armoured Glory. It could also be another AdMech thing, but what would AdMech need? Mind you, what would Chaos need that they don't already have, aside from updating the old as hell Land Raider? But then would they even bother doing that? I don't know. I don't know. Either way, that is a very cool looking character, really like what they've done there, and I would suggest that this lot are pretty damn neat as well. Perhaps not as weird as some might hope, but I would suggest that there's a good amount of weird in the overall sort of collection of AdMech stuff. Having a few lads that are just chunky, girthy, and have got a bit of heft to them, it's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? Anyway, let me know what you think of that lot in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you for the next one.